on, everybody? Welcome back to Driver's Side. I'm Drew, your host, and today we're going to be discussing whether or not you should drive your M3 in the snow. So today, on this cold and snowy morning, we're going to be taking my car around for a drive. If you're new to the channel, I own a 2002 BMW E46 M3, which is quite the car, I might add. So before we begin, I do want to say that I have owned this car for about 2 years, and I've dailied it the whole time I've had it, which means I have driven it in all kinds of different weather conditions, and I have been through a couple winters with it. So hopefully that gives me a little credibility on the topic of driving this car in the winter. But let's get started and talk about why you should or shouldn't drive this car in the winter. So I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that own M3s, probably E46 M3 specifically if you're watching this video, and I'm sure some of you have something that's not so nice to say to me about daily driving the car in the winter, things like that. But I do want to say that one thing that's essential for owning these cars and keeping them nice is to drive them. You have to drive them to keep the car running well. You have to get the car out, stretch its legs, so that's the reason I daily the car. So the first thing I want to talk about regarding driving one of these cars in the winter time is to just be careful. If you're gonna drive this car in the winter, if you're gonna go around, drift in the snow, stuff like that, definitely be careful. And if you're dailying the car like I am, just know that it's not the easiest car to drive in the snow because it is rear-wheel drive and it does have a fair amount of horsepower, so you just need to be careful. That's the first step in driving this car in the winter. Because if you're not careful, the car will slide out on you, and if you're not expecting it, you can lose control pretty quickly. Wow, it's bright. Hold on, let me put these sunglasses on. So one thing to note when you first get the car out in the morning, if you have an M3, I'm sure this goes for many cars as well, other than this car, but my car specifically. If you get your M3 out in the morning and it's cold, maybe it's snowy outside, you're gonna notice a couple things. First, the steering is gonna be a little bit heavier than normal right when you bring the car out, and the gearbox is definitely gonna be pretty clunky right when you turn the car on and get driving. Don't worry so much about those things because those will subside in 30 seconds or a minute. But definitely just take it slow right when you start driving and just let the car warm up a little bit before you kind of take it out in its paces. I will say that driving this car in snowy, icy, wet conditions, cold conditions is very doable, and a lot of that is to do with the traction control that this car has. The traction control actually does a really good job at keeping your car on the road, keeping you going straight, but it does cut power sometimes, so you may have to turn the traction control off, like if you're on a hill in the snow, but it does do a good job overall at keeping you going straight on the road. So another thing that makes driving this car in the winter pretty doable is kind of specific to my car. Your M3 may have this as well. Mine's actually outfitted with the winter weather package, so that means heated seats, and the heated seats are very nice. I think actually it may have heated mirrors too. I know that's an option on some BMWs. I'm not for sure about that on my car, but the seats are very nice. They keep you very warm and very comfortable in cold conditions, so that makes the car much more doable in the winter. So the last thing I'm going to say about driving this car in the winter is kind of taking care of it in the winter. So if you drive in a place where there is a lot of snow, you're probably going to get a lot of salt on the roads. So occasionally, as it gets warm enough to wash your car off without freezing, definitely go take that opportunity and wash all of the salt off of your car, because that's going to protect your paint, that's going to protect the undercarriage of your car from rusting out, and you're going to be a happy car owner overall if you do that. And that's just kind of common knowledge anyways, is if you take care of your car will take care of you. So definitely take good care of your car and wash it in the winter time. Well guys, that's all I have for my video on whether or not you should drive your M3 in the wintertime. Personally, I think it's very doable to drive this car in the winter. Just be careful, because I don't want to see anybody getting hurt, and I don't want to see any of these cars getting wrecked. Make sure to leave this video a like if you enjoyed watching it, and make sure to leave a comment down below on whether or not you drive your car in the wintertime, because I'd love to hear that from you guys. Also, if you like automotive videos, make sure to subscribe down below, because we post weekly automotive content. I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, enjoy the road.